important are these ideas as far as you're concerned? How committed are you to bringing in new ideas to the office?
Well, Mike, what we're seeing today is record homicide rates. We're seeing double-digit increases in violent crime every year. And what we're not seeing is a sense of urgency. Our young people are killing and being killed at an alarming rate. And so we have to, there's been no leadership coming out of the sheriff's office, and so what we need to do is change direction. And under my leadership, we have a youth violent strike force that we're going to put together a plan to address violent crime. That's our main issue. And we have 3 focus areas: prevention, intervention, and suppression.
Tell me about what you see as your role. What's going to be, you know, what are your main duties as the sheriff?
Well, the sheriff is the chief law enforcement officer of the county, but with that position comes a great amount of influence, and what I want to do is use that influence to bring about a whole community approach to fighting violent crime. We want to pull together our faith-based organizations. We want to pull together the nonprofits, our business community, to address some of the root causes of crime so we can prevent our young people from getting involved in gang activity to begin with. Those that are in there that want out, we want to do everything we can to give them opportunities outside of what the gang is providing them. And then the last piece, that suppression piece, if those that tend to commit this violence, we're going to be laser focused on the most violent individuals in our community. And the sheriff's office will have a much larger footprint inside the city of Memphis.
That's what I was going to ask you. Normally in the years past, we have seen the sheriff's office take not a hands-off approach, but basically we deal with the county, the city deals with the city, and never the twain shall meet, and you don't feel that's the way it should be?
No, not at all, not at all. Right now, just like I said, I'm not seeing a sense of urgency or any leadership coming out of the sheriff's office when we're watching our young people dying in our streets. And so what we're going to do is we're going to come in and we're going to focus on the most violent individuals. We're going to be out there working hard to bridge the gaps in our community between law enforcement right now and the sheriff's office. As far as the community goes, there's some level of distrust there, and so we want to we want to bridge that gap, and the way we do that is building relationships. We're going to have 2 core foundational principles, Mike, and they're the foundational principles of community policing. That's problem solving, meaning I give every person in every situation my very best. The second is building partnerships at every level of the organization. We've seen community policing in pockets and units in the past, but what we're going to bring to the table is we're going to institutionalize that throughout the sheriff's office. So it's not going to be a unit doing community policing, it's going to be the sheriff's office doing community policing.
Let me throw a couple of quick questions at you here, just out of curiosity. You know, there was a move on the city council last year, I think, to try to, not to criminalize marijuana, but to basically make it not an issue where you just get a ticket as opposed to anything else. How do you feel about that?
You know, I'm not for decriminalizing marijuana use. I think it's a gateway drug that leads people into much harder drugs, and so I'm not for that. At the same token, our focus, particularly at the beginning, we're going to be focused on violent crime. We've got to address the street crime that's just plaguing our city right now, and so we're going to do that. That's where our focus is going to be.
And anything on ICE? You've heard about the people saying supporting ICE, and what's your feeling about that?
Well, you know, we're going to work with ICE just like we would any other federal organization, just like we would the FBI, Secret Service. What I'm not committing to is that we're not going to become immigration officers. We don't have the resources, and like I said, our focus is going to be what can we do as a sheriff's office to make Shelby County safer. But we're not going to vilify federal law enforcement officers who are law enforcers. If we don't like the law, we need to get with our lawmakers and change the law. But we're absolutely going to work with ICE. I don't think that releasing somebody that's already in our jail for committing a crime back into our community makes us safer, so we're not going to do that.
What are you going to do? Are you going to sit down with for years we always hear people say, I'm going to work with the Memphis Police Department. Tell me about what you're going to do. You're going to sit down with the director, talk about it, work together, and try to see what you can do?
You know, Mike Rollins and I have been friends, good friends for many years. When he was the range commander for the Memphis Police Department and I was a commander in the Metro Gang Unit, we worked very closely on some projects to get specialized equipment out to our officers. And so he and I have had a strong working relationship for years. And so what I would see from that relationship would just get bigger. We're not going to roll 100 officers into their complement and say, here, go answer calls for service. What our team will be doing is proactive policing, focusing on the most violent people in our community. And so I think he will welcome that with open arms. We're gonna be there to support and help him, and hopefully I'll be able to talk him into adding some people to our team.